The desert wind screamed like a mourner's wail, clawing at Abraham's robes as he stood at the edge of his camp, heart pounding with dread. The city of Gerar shimmered on the horizon, a promise of refuge wrapped in peril. Beside him, Sarah, his beloved wife, sat silent, her beauty a radiant flame that could ignite a king's desire or a husband's doom. Driven from Canaan by a merciless famine, Abraham faced a choice that tore at his soul. To save his life, he would ask Sarah to lie, to call herself his sister. One word could shield them or shatter them. As the sun bled into the dunes, he whispered a desperate prayer, tears stinging his eyes, unaware that God was already weaving their fear into a tapestry of grace. The caravan crept across the desolate desert, each step a heavy thud against the sand, mirroring the weight in Abraham's chest. At 65, his weathered face told stories of faith and failure, of promises kept and trials endured. God's call had uprooted him from Ur, promising a nation born from his line. I will make you into a great nation, and I will bless you. Genesis 12:2 NIV. But now, as the famine in Canaan choked their hopes, fear gnawed at him like a ravenous beast. His heart ached with the uncertainty of what lay ahead in Gerar, a city ruled by the powerful and unpredictable King Abimelech. Sarah rode beside him, her face veiled against the biting sand, but her presence was a beacon of strength and beauty. At 55, her dark eyes sparkled with wisdom, her grace unbroken by years of childlessness and wandering. Their love had weathered storms, war, doubt, divine encounters, but today Abraham's silence was a wall between them. Sarah felt it, her heart tightening with unease. "Abraham," she said, her voice soft but piercing, cutting through the wind's howl. "Your silence is louder than this desert. What weighs on you?" He turned to her, his eyes shadowed with guilt, his throat tight with unspoken fears. "Gerar, it's a dangerous place, Sarah. Abimelech is a king who takes what he wants. We're strangers here, defenseless. The fear of man will prove to be a snare, but whoever trusts in the Lord is kept safe." Proverbs 29:25 NIV. "I'm trying to trust, but my heart trembles." Sarah's gaze softened, but her voice held an edge. "And what does that mean for us, my love?" Abraham's hands shook on the reins, his voice barely a whisper. "If Abimelech knows you're my wife, he might kill me to have you. Your beauty, it's a flame that draws men, even kings, I think. I think it's safer if we say you're my sister." Sarah's breath hitched, her heart lurching as if struck. Her camel slowed, and she stared at him, eyes wide with disbelief and pain. "Your sister?" Her voice cracked, raw with betrayal. "You'd have me lie, Abraham? You'd put me in a king's hands to save yourself?" Tears welled in Abraham's eyes, his voice breaking. "Not just me, Sarah, our people, our future, the promise God gave us. If he takes you as a wife, he'll spare me, spare our caravan. But if he knows you're mine, I'm nothing but a threat to him." Sarah's hands clenched, her knuckles white beneath her robes. Her voice trembled with a mix of anger and sorrow. "And what of me? What happens when a king claims his sister as a bride? Do you think he'll stop at words? The heart of her husband trusts in her." Proverbs 31:11 NIV. "Where is your trust in me, Abraham, in us?" Abraham's shoulders slumped, shame washing over him like a flood. "God will protect us," he said, his voice desperate, clinging to the promise. "Do not be afraid, Abram. I am your shield, your very great reward." Genesis 15:1 NIV. "He's never failed us, Sarah. He won't know." Her silence was a knife, cutting deeper than any rebuke. Tears glistened in her eyes, but she blinked them away, adjusting her veil with trembling fingers. "You asked me to bear your fear," she whispered, her voice thick with pain. "But I'll do it. Not for you, but for the promise we carry, for our people. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear?" Psalm 27:1 NEV. "I fear no king, but I grieve for us." Abraham's heart shattered, but he nodded, tears streaking his dust-covered face. "Thank you, Sarah," he choked out, the words barely audible. They rode on, Gerar's walls growing closer, a fortress of stone against the endless dunes. Abraham's soul churned with doubt, the lie a bitter weight in his chest. He had betrayed Sarah, the woman who had walked beside him through every trial, and perhaps even God, whose promise he doubted. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. Proverbs 3:5 NIV. Yet as the city gates loomed, he clung to the hope that this deception was necessary, a painful step to preserve their divine calling. Gerar buzzed with life, its streets a chaotic symphony of merchants' shouts, clattering carts and children's laughter. The caravan drew wary glances, their dusty robes and weathered faces marking them as outsiders. At the central square, a man in a crimson robe approached, flanked by soldiers with bronze-tipped spears. Phicol, Abimelech's chief emissary, eyed them with a predator's scrutiny, his smile thin and calculated. "Welcome to Gerar," Phicol said, his voice smooth as polished stone. "King Abimelech wishes to know your purpose here." Abraham dismounted, bowing slightly, his heart racing. "I am Abraham, a herdsman from Canaan. We seek refuge from the famine and trade for supplies. This is my sister, Sarah, and these are my people." Phicol's gaze lingered on Sarah, who stood with quiet dignity, her veil hiding all but her piercing eyes. Her beauty seemed to glow, even through the dust of travel, and Abraham's stomach twisted with dread. "Your sister is welcome," Phicol said, his smile widening. "The king will wish to meet her. He rewards loyalty generously." Abraham forced a smile, his throat dry. "We are grateful for his hospitality." That evening, the caravan encamped on Gerar's outskirts, under the watchful eyes of Abimelech's guards. Abraham sat by the fire, its flames flickering like his wavering faith. Sarah approached, her veil down, her face a mask of resolve and pain. The firelight caught the unshed tears in her eyes, and Abraham's heart ached. "They'll come for me soon," she said, her voice steady but laced with sorrow. "Abimelech's men have watched me all day." Abraham's voice cracked as he spoke. "Sarah, I'll be with you. I won't let—" "You've already let this happen," she interrupted, her words sharp with hurt. "You chose this lie, Abraham. You put me in a king's hands because you doubted. The Lord is my strength and my shield. My heart trusts in him, and he helps me." Psalm 28:7, NIV. "I trust God, but my heart breaks for what you've done to us." Tears spilled down Abraham's cheeks, his hands trembling. "Sarah, I'm sorry. I was so afraid." "Fear is no excuse," she said, her voice softening but still heavy with pain. "Pray, Abraham. Pray that God is as faithful as you claim. The Lord will keep you from all harm. He will watch over your life." Psalm 121:7, NIV. Before he could respond, Phicol appeared with soldiers, their armor glinting in the firelight. "The king requests the presence of Sarah, sister of Abraham," he announced. "She is to dine with him tonight." Sarah straightened, brushing the dust from her robes, her face resolute despite the tears in her eyes. "I'm ready," she said, her voice unwavering. She glanced at Abraham, her gaze a storm of love, pain, and defiance. Then followed the soldiers into the night, leaving him alone with his guilt. The palace of Abimelech was a marvel of stone and cedar, its halls adorned with vibrant tapestries and lit by flickering oil lamps. Sarah walked with her head high, ignoring the courtiers' whispers, her heart pounding with a mix of fear and resolve. Abimelech awaited in his private chambers, younger than she expected, perhaps 40, with a lean frame and sharp, calculating eyes. His gold crown gleamed, a symbol of power that sent a shiver down her spine. "Welcome, Sarah," he said, rising with a charming smile that didn't reach his eyes. "Your beauty outshines the tales of your brother's wealth. Gerar is honored to host you." Sarah inclined her head, her expression guarded, her heart aching. "You are kind, my lord. My brother and I are grateful for your protection." Abimelech gestured to a table laden with dates, bread, roasted lamb, and wine in silver goblets. "Sit," he said. "Tell me of your journey. Canaan is a harsh land, is it not?" Sarah sat, her movements graceful but tense, her heart heavy with the lie she carried. "It has its trials," she said, her voice steady despite the ache in her chest. Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds. James 1-2, NIV. But we endure as God wills. Abimelech's smile deepened, his eyes gleaming with interest. A woman of faith and beauty. I admire that. Tell me, Sarah, are you promised to any man? Her heart lurched, the lie a bitter weight on her tongue. No, my lord, I am free. The words cut like a blade, a betrayal of the love she shared with Abraham. A wife of noble character is her husband's crown. Proverbs 12-4 NIV. She thought, and yet here she was, denying that bond to protect him. Abimelech leaned closer, his gaze intense. Then perhaps Gerar will offer you more than refuge, he said. A woman like you deserves a place of honor. Sarah forced a smile, her stomach twisting with fear and guilt. She felt the weight of Abraham's choice, the risk she bore for their people. But as the evening wore on, she noticed a flicker of unease in Abimelech's eyes, as if he sensed a divine presence watching. The eyes of the Lord are everywhere, keeping watch on the wicked and the good. Proverbs 15-3 NIV. Her heart clung to that truth, a lifeline in the storm. That night, Abraham could not sleep. He paced the camp, his heart a battlefield of guilt and fear, his eyes fixed on the palace's distant glow. Every rustle of the wind was a taunt, every shadow a threat. He fell to his knees, tears streaming down his face, his hands clasped in desperate prayer. Lord, he sobbed, forgive my cowardice. I've doubted your promise. Do not be afraid, Abram. I am your shield, your very great reward. Genesis 15-1 NIV. I've hurt Sarah, the one I love most. Protect her, I beg you. The Lord is close to the broken-hearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. Psalm 34-18. A divine presence enveloped him, both comforting and convicting, stirring his soul with the weight of his sin. He had asked Sarah to bear his lie, and now he was powerless, left to trust in God's mercy. In the palace, Abimelech slept fitfully, his dreams haunted by a blazing light and a voice that thundered through his soul. You have taken a woman who is not yours, the voice declared. She is the wife of Abraham, and you will die if you touch her. Genesis 20-3 NIV. Return the man's wife, for he is a prophet, and he will pray for you, and you will live. Genesis 20-7. Abimelech awoke, his heart pounding, sweat drenching his brow. He summoned his guards, his voice sharp with fear. Bring Sarah to me at once. When Sarah arrived, her face pale but composed, her eyes red from silent tears, Abimelech stared at her, his anger tempered by awe. Is it true? He demanded, his voice trembling. Are you Abraham's wife? Sarah nodded, her voice steady despite her broken heart. Yes, my lord, I am his wife. Abimelech's face flushed with fury. Why did he lie to me? Does he think me a savage to murder a man for his wife? Sarah's voice wavered, but she held his gaze. He was terrified, for his life, for mine, for our people. He thought this was the only way. The Lord is good, a refuge in times of trouble. He cares for those who trust in him. Nahum 1-7. Abraham's trust faltered, but his heart is true. Abimelech paced, his fists clenched, his anger warring with fear of the divine warning. Your God spoke to me in a dream, he said. He threatened death if I touched you. Why should I not punish you both for this deception? Sarah's eyes shone with unshed tears, but her voice was firm. Punish me if you must, but spare Abraham and our people. I lied to protect those I love. The Lord is my rock, my fortress and my deliverer. Psalm 18-2 NIV. I trust him to guide us now. Her courage and faith softened Abimelech's heart. He studied her, then sighed heavily. Return to your husband, he said. Your God is mighty, and I will not defy him. The next morning, Abraham was summoned to the palace, his heart heavy with dread. He stood before Abimelech, head bowed, expecting judgment. The king's voice was stern but tempered with respect. You lied to me, Abraham, Abimelech said. You endangered my life and my kingdom. Why? Abraham's voice broke, tears spilling anew. I was terrified. I thought you'd kill me to take Sarah. I doubted God's promise. I will be with you and will bless you, Genesis 26:3, NIV. I was wrong. If we are faithless, he remains faithful, for he cannot disown himself. 2 Timothy 2:13, Need. Abimelech shook his head, his anger softened by the divine warning. Your God has spared us all. Take your wife and leave my city. But first, accept these gifts, silver, sheep, and grain as a sign of peace, and know that I have not touched her. Genesis 20:14-16, NIV. Abraham nodded, his heart swelling with gratitude and shame. Thank you, my Lord. When Sarah emerged, her eyes met Abraham's, and the air between them crackled with unspoken pain. Her face was etched with the weight of the night, but her gaze held love, fierce and unbroken. The caravan prepared to depart, laden with Abimelech's gifts, but the true burden was the rift between them. As they rode out of Gerar, Sarah's voice broke the silence, soft but heavy with emotion. You doubted, Abraham, not just God, but me. You asked me to risk everything because you didn't trust. Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. Proverbs 4:23, NIV. Abraham's tears fell freely, his voice choked with remorse. I was wrong, Sarah. I let fear rule me. Can you forgive me? Bear with each other and forgive one another if any of you has a grievance against someone, Colossians 3:13-4. Sarah looked ahead, her eyes glistening but resolute. Forgiveness is a journey, she said, her voice trembling with love and pain. But I'll walk it with you, as I always have. Love covers over a multitude of sins, 1 Peter 4:8, NIV. The desert stretched before Abraham and Sarah, a vast canvas of trials and triumphs, each step a testament to their enduring faith. The lie in Gerar became a story whispered around campfires, a raw tale of fear, betrayal, and divine redemption. Abraham learned to cling to God's promises with a trembling heart, and Sarah found strength in her unshakable love, her soul anchored in the covenant they shared. By faith, Abraham, when called to go to a place he would later receive as his inheritance, obeyed and went, Hebrews 11:8, NIV. So too did Sarah, his partner in faith, walk boldly into the unknown, trusting that the Lord will fulfill his purpose for me, Psalm 138:8, NIV. Their scars from Gerar shaped them, forging a legacy that echoed through generations, a beacon for all who face choices between fear and faith. And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, Romans 8:28, NIV. Want to explore more stories of faith and the decisions that shape our walk with God? Subscribe to Biblical Decision Points on YouTube, where we dive into the moments that define us, drawing lessons from Scripture to guide your own journey. Join us, reflect on your choices, and let's grow in faith together.